potency of bhakti and the potency of Krishna. Of course, in Chaitanya Charitamrita it says you should take the foot water and the foot dust and the Mahaprasadam of a devotee. So anything related to a devotee is purifying and produces bhakti. So as I said, not even contacting a devotee, seeing him at a distance, remembering a devotee is purifying. Why? Because ultimately they're practicing bhakti, and because they're practicing bhakti, within the bhakti is the Supreme Lord. Of course, we can say, well, Supreme Lord is in everybody, is Paramama, even in the demon. So why isn't the demon also a tirtha? Why isn't he also purifying? We should go to all the demons and get purified. So when we practice bhakti, something else happens. Paramama is replaced by Supreme Lord himself as Bhagavan. Paramama is neutral to everybody. Bhagavan favors the devotee. Supreme Lord is attracted to bhakti, so he's attracted to the devotee. So what could be more purifying than a devotee? Because the devotee has Krishna in him. So we can associate with the devotee by taking his Mahaprasadam or taking his foot dust or foot water, seeing him at a distance, remembering. But most powerful way is to accept the instructions of a devotee. So when we talk about devotee association in Bhagavatam, it means association by preaching. So Supreme Lord himself instructs Brahma, Brahma instructs Narada, Narada instructs Vyasa. Vyasa instructs Sukadev. Sukadev instructs Parikshit. We see Jadbharat instructs King Rahugana. Yeah. So repeatedly, the greatest mercy is giving of instructions. So, of course, if the materialist instructs on Bhagavad Gita, no potency. If the devotee does it, then it is non-different from Krishna. Of course, the more advanced the devotee, the more potent is the instruction. But in any case, any devotee has some ability to transmit that message of Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. And this is how they deliver the jivas in the material world. Bhakti is the only way for deliverance, and bhakti is delivered by devotees. And thus association of devotees is praised in Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, Hare Krishna. Any question?
Is asking when you spoke about these people who are throwing the books in the garbage. Is it now, after 50 years of preaching, is it a little bit different situation at the moment?
Okay. Well, I hope so. Yeah. After the initial 5 or 10 years or whatever, they did that in America. I think it was America mainly. Then they realized this isn't working too well, and people were having negative reaction. So we have people like Vaisheshika who trains people up for book distribution. I think in most places they have some people to train people up. So what to do and what not to do in terms of distributing books. Yeah. And in his teaching programs, when he's teaching people how to distribute books, he says you look for people who are you think are going to be favorable, not people who you think are the worst persons and not going to accept it. You look first of all and see if people a little bit interested, a little bit favorable, like that, and you approach those persons. So in the beginning of book distribution, there was always competition among the different temples to see who could do more books. So therefore, by hook or crook, by any means, they tried to distribute books, but that's not encouraged nowadays. Yeah. So I think attitude has changed in how to distribute books, and you know, after first 10 years of the movement. Yes.
Yes. I want to thank you so much for this very clear and sobering lecture, put in very deep and simple words. I really appreciated it. Thank you very much. Hoćeš sama prevesti onda? Aha, zahvala sam Maharaju na prekrasnoj jednostavnoj lekciji. I will translate. Koja je bila jasna i duboka. I have a question regarding tirtas and visiting tirtas. What should be your meditation before going to tirta? Is it the best then to find a sadhu there and from the point of view of maybe like devotee being more Goshtananandi, visiting the holy places where there is more Bhajananandi. Actually, yes, how to prepare, how to meditate, prepare our mood and attitude. I will translate. Pitala sam koji je njegov savjet za stav i meditaciju prije odlaska na sveto mjesto. I možda savjet za bhaktu koji je više goštana radi, a ide na mjesto gdje je možda više bhađana radi prominentna, evo. To sam pitala. Thank you.
So in Bhagavatam, of course, if we look, we'll see that visiting tirthas is often criticized. There are many tirthas, some devatas, and people go to all sorts of tirthas without much distinction to get some purification from sin. But performing bhakti, chanting the holy name, taking devotee association is a more effective way of getting rid of your sins. But the goal of the devotee is not to simply destroy sins. If we simply destroy sins, we get mukti, and devotees don't want mukti. Yeah. So devotees want prema. So how do we get prema? Of course, we can do all the different angas, 64 angas of bhakti, but of course, one of the main ones is chanting the holy name. Yeah. So even if we can't go to a holy tirtha, still chant the holy name, we can get the same effect. However, in Nectar Devotion is said, if you live in the holy Dham, you live in Mathura Vrindavan, you live in Navadvip, this is very good for your bhakti. And in fact, Rupa Goswami points out there are, of all the 64 angas of bhakti, 5 are most important. Most important, of course, is Nam Sankirtan. We have hearing Bhagavatam, we have association of devotees, we have worshipping the deity, and we have living in the holy Dham. So though chanting the holy name is our main practice, we can also live in the holy Dham. If we can't live, we can visit the holy Dham. These are good tirthas for prema. But of course, in going to the Dhamma, then we have to be careful. We do not commit offenses. So we should not think of the Dham as a material place. We should not exploit the Dham for material profit. Like we worship the deity without asking for material things, we should go to the Dham with the greatest respect and devotion. But as explained in this verse and by Srila Prabhupada and other places, actually, if you're going to the Dham, the best thing to do there is to meet a great devotee. If we meet a great devotee, then again, what is the best association? To get some instructions. Yeah. But then Srila Prabhupada, he was also a little bit hesitant for the devotees going to the holy dhams. Yes, in the holy dhams, there are also many people that look like devotees, but maybe they're not devotees. So people often disguise themselves as exalted saints, but actually they are not. So we have to be very careful who we associate with in the Dham also. Fortunately, ISKCON has temples in Vrindavan and Mayapur, etc., so we should consult with other devotees there and see who are the bona fide devotees with whom we can associate with. But, of course, Jiva Goswami says, if you can't go to the Dham at all, at least you can meditate on the Dham. And fortunate for people in the world, there's ISKCON devotees all around the world, so you can always get association with devotees, even if you don't go to the Dham. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
One more question. Maharaj je pričao na lekciji sada da je spomenuo je da dosta znanja baš bakte ne proučavaju vezano za kremu i ruči i da čak na bakti šastrama se to ne proučava pa i onda je rekao da se ono spori napredak, naš napredak zbog toga jer je znanje jako bitno. Kako može to malo pojasniti? Da li to znači ako mi ne uzimamo znanje od toga, da to onda znači neće automatski, kao što smo čuli, krema ući u naš život i evo ako može malo pojasniti ovo što je spomenuo na lekciji. Hvala. She said that you said that if we don't read about prema and this higher levels of devotion, then it will not come by itself. So she's asking, hoćeš ti sama prevesti? Because we consider it will come automatically. Even in Bhakti Shastri, you said that it's not taught. So
Yeah.
If you can explain a little bit more about this.
Yes. Of course, if we do bhakti, we don't know what the goal is, we can get some results. We know that Ajamil chanted the name Narayan. He wasn't thinking of Narayan at all. He wasn't thinking of Vaikuntha, wasn't thinking of service in the spiritual world, but he got all of his sins destroyed. That much happened. So a devotee who's intentionally doing bhakti, but also not so much knowledgeable, and he's practicing mixed bhakti with all sorts of desires or whatever, he can also advance. He can also even get liberation. And eventually, he can also go to the spiritual world. Though his bhakti is not pure, he can get better than someone doing karma yoga. He can get, yes, he can get something better than a person practicing karma yoga, which is Svargaloka or Brahmaloka. He can get better than someone practicing Jnana yoga, which is liberation. So it's explained that a person has a little bit of karma, a little material desires mixed with his bhakti. He can get to Vaikuntha and he can get Salokya and Sarupya. So definitely that's some spiritual goal. It's good. But that person does not advance to the stage where he experiences full rasa with Krishna. So a person, of course, is better if he practices pure bhakti. Then, of course, if we practice pure bhakti to Krishna, we expect to go to Krishna rather than Rama or Vishnu. But then, who was Krishna? So we have to know Krishna is different from Vishnu. He has two arms. He plays the flute. He lives in Vrindavan. He plays with the cows. So we must distinguish one form of the Lord from another. Yeah. But more than just appearance or form, we have to understand difference in qualities. And we know the quality of Krishna is different from that of Vishnu. We know that the worship of Vishnu is full of Aishvarya, great reverence. We know that worship of Krishna in Vrindavan has none of that reverence. They don't see him as God at all. If Mother Yasoda said Krishna is God, she would not take a stick and run after him. Yeah. So we worship Krishna, but we have to know a little bit more about Krishna and about his qualities. And if we want to be a devotee of Krishna in Vrindavan, we have to know about the devotees. How are they acting? And we have to act similarly. Yeah. But that's not so difficult. If we read 10th canto Bhagavatam, especially the first part of the 10th canto up to chapter 35 or whatever, we get nice descriptions of the devotees, like the cowherd boys, and Mother Yasoda, and Nanda, and the gopis, and we get nice descriptions of Krishna. So we actually, if we want to attain Krishna and Vrindavan in the spiritual world, we have to cultivate a mood similar to the devotees in Vrindavan. Yeah, they all have prema, but their prema is different from the prema in Vaikuntha. So in that sense, we have to know something about the prema of the devotees if we want to attain something similar.
Moramo nešto znati o premi, ljubavi, bhakti, ako želimo nešto slično postići i dostići.
Otherwise, we can worship Krishna, we can worship Krishna with reverence, and then we don't go to Vrindavan.
Inače, može nam se desiti da obožavamo Krišnu sa strahopoštovanjem i onda nećemo dostići Krišnu u Vrindavan.
We may go to Dwarka instead.
Ići ćemo u Dwarku umjesto toga.
So, and that's, of course, if you're satisfied with Dwarka, fine. But if you want to go to Vrindavan, don't be disappointed if you're worshiping in the wrong way with the wrong mood.
Nije loše ići u Dwarku, ali moramo znati ako želimo u Vrindavan da ne obožavamo sa pogrešnim raspoloženjem.
So the more particular way in which we can worship now, the quicker it is for us to attain that goal in the future.
I što sutilnije sada u ovom trenutku obožavamo, to ćemo brže dostići cilj u budućnosti.
So of course in the material world they have a similar concept. You have to, if you want to achieve a material goal, you have to really meditate on that goal with great concentration.
I u zapravo materijalnom svijetu imaju sličan način i princip. Oni ako žele dostići neki cilj, onda moraju se vrlo skoncentrirano meditirati na taj cilj.
You can't just think, well, I want some money and think about it once a year. It's not going to happen.
Ako žele dobiti neki novac, neće ga dobiti ako na to meditiraju jedanput godišnje.
But if you can say money is how much money, and then you can say exactly, I want $50,000, I want $200,000, I want $200,000, plus I want this, plus I want that. You get all the details together, and I want it in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. Anyway, more specific goal will give better results.
I onda ako ne meditiraš samo evo želim novac, nego želiš kažeš hoću $50,000 ili $200,000 i to hoću u godinu dana ili dve, vrlo specifično, onda ćeš prije postići cilj.
So the more specific goal of prema we have, the quicker it is and the better result we get.
Tako da ako želimo neki specifični oblik preme, onda ćemo to brže dobiti i brže ćemo to postići.
There's a description of one type of shanta rati in the spiritual world where the person didn't fix himself on any particular form of the Lord.
Ima opis određeno prakticiran šanta rase gdje se osoba koja meditira nije specifično orijentirala na neki oblik gospodina.
So he worships everybody. He worships Rama and Nrsimha and Vishnu and Krishna, everybody.
I on obožava sve moguće oblike Ramu, Vishnu, razne oblike gospodina.
So one day he wakes up and says, I'm going to worship Krishna today. Next day, I'm going to worship Vishnu. And so he worships everybody. Spiritual world is all spiritual, but it doesn't get deep rasa, no prema. We get a little bit of shantarati.
Možda drugo pitanje.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Možda ga pitate za sutra, da li će ponovno da ga pitam ja?
Možeš, evo, dakle, devotees are asking, are you going maybe to give the lecture tomorrow also? They will be happy.
I can, yeah.
Kaže da može.
Pa evo 5 za 9. Hoćemo još pitati?
Is there any other question? It's 5 up to 9.
Question? No.
Pa mogli bi da završimo.
Prosim,
Pa kažem, mogli bi da završimo.
Yeah, maybe we can then finish now.
Sure, fine, great.
I have one question.
Okay.
There is one more question.
Okay.
I would like to know, like, how to choose the object of meditation in trying to get prana.
Oh, yeah.
Ja mogu prevesti dakle, da pitamo kako se zove izabrati, na šta da meditiramo kada želimo dostići pranu.
So association is a big factor.
Druženje je veliki faktor.
And so those who associate with the Sampradaya of Lord Chaitanya, then you're going to be exposed to Krishna and Radha a lot.
Oni koji su Sampradaya gospodina Chaitanya će puno meditirati na Radu i Krishnu.
You read Chaitanya Charitamrita, you're going to hear all about Madhurya Rasa.
Jer u Čaitanji ćeš čuti, Chaitanya Charitamrita ćeš čuti sve o Madhurya rasi.
Of course, if you read Bhagavatam, you'll see all the rasas, Radasya and Sakya, Vatsalya, Madhurya in the 10th canto. But Lord Chaitanya was emphasizing Radha Krishna as the highest worship of all, so in the Sampradaya that gets great emphasis. Still, even in Lord Chaitanya's Sampradaya, not everybody was in Madhurya Rasa, so we get Vatsalya Rasa and Sakya Rasa and Dasya Rasa. So by hearing and reading the pastimes of Krishna and Vrindavan in the 10th canto, if we develop a particular attraction to certain devotees and how they worship Krishna, then that can be a factor in what we choose to worship as our goal in prema. Yeah. So by hearing scripture and by association of devotees, then we get some sort of attraction for more particular type of prema. Okay. Hare Krishna.
The only one devotee who had Mahabhava except Lord Chaitanya Radharani, it's Madhavendra Puri, and he is Kalpavriksha in a spiritual world. Can you
Why is Madhavendra Kalpavriksha? You're saying?
Yes.
Oh, I see. Well, it's not explained anywhere. Oh, should translate.
Yeah, maybe she should translate.
Okay.
Da, uvijek was jako misteriozno meni zašto je Madhavendra Puri koji ima malo babu ima oblik Kalpavrikshe, znači drveta u duhovnom svijetu.
So generally things like trees in the spiritual world really don't have the rasa that is available for the human forms like the gopis or the cowherd boys. And so therefore, Bhagavan describes the relationships and conversations between Krishna and the people of Vrindavan rather than Krishna and the trees or the cows. Krishna cannot really carry out an elaborate discussion with any of the animals or the plants. Yeah. So therefore, it's a little bit surprising that Madhavendra Puri is a tree. So, of course, what type of tree? Is this a literal desire tree in the spiritual world, or is it a metaphor? Uh-huh. Now, by the special mercy in the spiritual world, a person could be a desire tree. Simultaneously, it could be a person. But desire tree probably is chosen because he is the one that fulfilled everybody's desires for prema. So through him we get a nice line of bhakti very similar to that of Lord Chaitanya. So in this way we maybe give him some extra glorification by calling him a desire tree, because he's the one that fulfills everybody's desire for Madhurya Prema. Hare Krishna.
I have also one question.
One more question.
I have just one question. There is.
Еще одно питание.
One more question. Yes. I was just thinking about how to phrase it, how to ask the question, because, for example, I'm in a situation where I'm trying to please Krishna, but for example, my husband is an atheist, and my children they don't want to have any contact with Krishna, and how to transcend our mind, especially I go also to work, and many times the energy from people who are not devotees is affecting me and putting me in lower gunas.
Mm-hmm.
So how do I protect myself from it? Because it's very hard. Pitala sam Swamija da meni je suprug ateist i djeca ne žele imati kontakt s Krišnom i da idem na posao. I tako sam puno u kontaktu sa osobama koji ne vjeruju, koji ne znaju o Krišni. I često djeluje njihova guna, njihova energija puno puta djeluje na mene i tako kako da se zaštitimo od toga. To se pitala Maharaja. Hare Krishna.
So this is not a unique situation. I think that's a situation with many people, many devotees. And normally, for other spiritual practices and following the Vedas, it would be impossible. However, the process of bhakti is very flexible. Furthermore, the Nam Sankirtan is very flexible and also most powerful. So in any situation, we can practice bhakti and we can chant the holy name. So it said, whether you're in heaven or hell, or young or old, or whatever situation, you can practice bhakti and chant the name. So our particular material situation may be difficult or even hellish, but nevertheless, we can transcend that situation through chanting the name. Some people, by good fortune, they don't have so many obstacles. So if we're in a position where there's so many obstacles or whatever, we have to tolerate the situation and simply continue our devotion.
I bilo kakva da je situacija, moramo jednostavno tolerirati i nastaviti sa svojim devocijom.
And Bhagavatam says that a person who does this, in spite of all the problems, they continue to worship the Lord. They are the ones who get the mercy of the Lord.
I Bhagavatam kaže da baš oni koji usprkos svim poteškoćama nastave slijediti, prakticirati, to su oni koji će dobiti milost Gospodina.
Of course, by your mere presence, you can also purify family and workers or whatever, even though they don't know it, they're getting benefit.
Naravno, svojom prisutnošću možeš pročistiti svoju obitelj i sve svoje kolege i slično, i oni i ne znajući imaju dobrobit.
So this is maybe the only way you can preach to the faithless. You just be there, and by that association, they get some benefit.
To može jedini način kako možeš nevjernicima propovijedati da jednostavno budeš prisutan i oni dobiju neku dobrobit od toga.
Okay, is it?
Okay, Bhante, Hare Krishna, pozdrav.
You can tell everybody Maharaj is getting class in the evening.
Thank you very much, Maharaj. We are so happy